Hello and welcome back to Padova, the Spring Invite 2024. My name is Sean Colfer, joining you to commentate this game, and as I'm introducing myself, a huge layout block there for the team in red, which I believe is Mosquitos, playing against Tiefseetaucher, a German team from Munich. Both teams had a pretty successful tournament so far. As you see, the offense worked really nicely around the back. Just a deep shot going towards the break side there, but it's just got too much edge on it. Goes over the receivers' heads. And the disc back with the Germans. So as I said, both teams had a pretty successful tournament thus far. Tiefseetaucher with 3 wins from 3. Beating the reigning European champions Deep Space, and also beating Heroes Flying Disc from Hungary, and the Owls, the Belgian team. Mosquitos, on the other hand, have not played Deep Space, but they've also defeated Heroes and the Owls. So 5 wins between these two teams, who look with Deep Space to be the class of the pool. Another great bid by the same defender, who got really close again, but looks to be hurt on that last one. Just on the landing, you could see, makes a great bid, cuts underneathly, gets the angle perfect, but it could be that the landing was not quite perfect, and we have a stoppage here. Fingers crossed everything is okay. Helped off the field. Fingers crossed we'll be seeing her again. That was, as I say, a great bid after a D earlier in this point. Tiefseetaucher, team from Munich, playing against Mosquitos, who are Austrian. And a miscommunication on a reset there gives the disc back to the D. Looking for space now in that vertical stack. Moving it around the back. Shot goes to the end zone. And it's caught in the back of the end zone there. And it's Tiefseetaucher's. Tiefseetaucher's in red. Might be. I thought it was Mosquitos in red, but it's a great shot to the end zone there. Over the defender's head. Catches it right on the sideline. Very, very small space to put that into. A very impressive throw for what looks to have been a break as well. So a great start for Tiefseetauchers. I'm hoping I'm pronouncing the name of the team correctly. My German is not the best. I believe Tiefseetauchers means deep sea divers. It is Mosquitos in red. It is Mosquitos. I saw a red, an M on the chest, and thinking that was them. Mosquitos are the Austrians got, but Tiefseetauchers, as I say, they're team from Germany, from Munich. A lot of players from MUC, team from Munich, Open Team, and Woodchickers, the women's team, have come together to make this team. Mosquitos, who've been around a little while, they got a win over Groot at the Elite Invite last year. But weren't able to qualify for EUCS. They lost out to some Polish teams. Mosquitos, based in the southeastern part of Austria, I think. And they're out here looking to get another break. Long gap, a long distance between the Tiefseetaucher handlers and cutters. It's a nice cut up the line and a good find. Good composure. It was a high stall situation there. On the sideline now, and a pick called. The defender just obstructed in catching up to the mark there. So it looks as though the disc is staying with the receiver, and they carry on. Good shot deep. Tiefseetaucher just outside the end zone now. Looking for an option. It's a little messy in front of the disc, but there's a poach somewhere. Up the line. Nice easy score, good execution. That up the line cut gave plenty of space. Torben Hornschmeier with the score. One of the best players in Germany, was a World Games attendee with the German team that impressed so many people. Played Germany mixed last year. You see he just beats his mark, who's trying to peek over his shoulder to see when that disc is going to be coming on the around, and gets beaten up the line. Nice throw from Dennis Holzer, one of the main handlers of this team. In a previous game, Holzer threw 7 assists, just highlighting his importance with the disc to this team. Another player who played for the German mixed team last year. A lot of talent on the field, as you would expect for 2 teams that are unbeaten so far. Both teams have players who played for their national teams before. Mosquitos with Johanna Roy, who was on the women's team. Several others who played at a very high level for Austria. And as I say, they went to Elite Invite last year and got an extremely impressive win over the then reigning European champions, Groot. So Tiefseetaucher getting us started on the 3rd point of the game. Mosquitos starting out in a vert stack, and that is just a cut off the front of the stack going deep. Left hand bomb. Nice. Easy score. Great throw. Nicola Hubel reels in that throw. Really good deep cut. Really good timing on it, and the throw was absolutely perfect. Mosquitos setting up in a vertical stack, just straight line in the middle of the field. You see the throw come up here. Hubler's just set it up, giving herself a little bit of space so she doesn't get a pick called on her as she goes deep. Streaks deep, and the left-handed backhand has a nice angle just out in front of her for what is a very nice, very efficient score for the Austrians. Put them back out on D to try and get another break on their German opponents. Both teams are pretty sizable squads here. It's 24 for Mosquitos, so they shouldn't have any issues pushing all the way through to the end of the game. Tiefseetaucher is slightly shorter, I think 21 or 22, but again, plenty of numbers. There should be no issues from either team tiring out at any point in this game. Justin Wallace on this now, another player who's played for Germany mixed. Holzer looking for an option. He's got Glocker, goes back to Holzer. Wallace, nice in and out cut, has it on this near side. You can see they're running everything through Holzer at the moment. Hornschmeier with the disc, goes to Wallace. That is good concentration on the catch from Wallace, because Paul Ressel had a really good bid at that disc. Flies through the air, tries to knock it away, just ends up tapping the back trailing edge of it and kind of knocks it back up towards Wallace. But that was very close to a block, as you see Wallace reset, shoot up the line. You can see Ressel's giving him some room. Hornschmeier spots it, but doesn't get quite enough edge on that. And Ressel really has an opportunity, but he's going to feel he should have done better there. I think he's got a really good opportunity to get a block on that. If he tries to catch it, it probably has to be pretty sharp reflexes, but he's got an opportunity at it. And Mosquitos asking some questions of the experienced German team here. Could see in that point, Tiefseetaucher really looking to isolate the front of the stack, the space all around the disc. They're looking to run dominator style sets there. Dominator set when you have 3 people out and you're basically allowing them as much space as they need to get open and move through 3 people. They're really trying to play off the front of that stack. Mosquitos had a nice pull play last time around, and we had the space to do that again. And it looks as though we're going to get one extra pass in there, but that is essentially the same play, but it is a drop from Roy in the end zone. She had so much space and time to catch that. You can see the marker's already given up on it. Roy gets both hands on it and just catches the back end and can't bring it in. Pull the receiver, or the defender on that. A bit of a let off there. Tiefseetaucher setting up in a 1-6 here. Only one person back, 6 people upfield. And there has been a lot of movement in that 1-6. It is completely blown apart here. The deep shot goes. It's kind of a sky ball, and that is indeed by Mosquitos. Looks as though it was Samek got a hand on it. It's a really aggressive shot there from Tiefseetaucher. There was not a great deal of space to throw into, but it went anyway. So Mosquitos now probably won't be able to run a pull play from here, but you can see that they are really going for that deep game. Their female matching players go deep every time, and it's a really good run through D. Tiefseetaucher getting a short field opportunity this time. Excellent run through D, just spotting where that throw was going in the underneath space and attacking it, getting there before the receiver. They're back in this 1-6, Tiefseetaucher. Disc comes over to this near side here. It's Linnea Siebert with the disc. Shoots towards the end zone. Lovely throw over the top of the defender. And Isabella Spieler brings it in for a break for the German team. Siebert with great block on an underneath throw. And then a wonderful throw to find her receiver. For the score to put the Germans up 3-2. As we see here, around backhand, just over the top of the mark. Roy can't get there. Perfectly waited for Spieler to run onto. Really nice play there from the female matching players of Tiefseetaucher to get them the break. We see the Germans running a kind of different offensive system with the 2 different lines they have here. With the offensive line is running more of a vert stack, 5 people upfield in a vertical line, looking to use the space right at the front of the stack and involve the handlers and move it through that space as quickly as they can. Whereas that D line, using a 1-6, no reset, all 6 people upfield, the reset is the front of the stack, can feel a bit scary at times. You haven't got that security blanket of a reset out with you, but if it's used correctly and it's used well, it's a really, really powerful weapon. There's so much space all over the field to attack. It can be very, very difficult to stop. And Mosquitos coming out in more of a 3-4 look here. They've got 3 handlers out after their success from pull plays in the last few points. Deep shot goes up again. But this one, just too much edge on it. And Hubel couldn't read it this time. Shot again coming from Samek. Lefty handler is really dictating a lot of the play for that Austrian O-line at the moment, but Tiefseetaucher with another opportunity to go the length of the field and try and get another break here. In this 1-6. Turning down an open side pass. Takes a really tough inside shot instead, but executes nicely. And now they're off and running. Tiefseetaucher are halfway now. Running down that break side. Still going all the way down the break side. Wallace with the disc now. And it's a block, although a foul called. I think the Tiefseetaucher receiver is going to say she had her hands on that. So he comes under, has plenty of space. Gets the disc from Wallace. Catches. Maybe. So there's definitely no immediate possession on that catch, but is she saying that she caught it, bobbled out of her hand, and as she went to go get it again, the Mosquitos player came through and took her hand? That would be the only thing I would guess the discussion could be, because it definitely didn't look as though she had full control of that disc when the defender came through. So just talking about what happened when. A lot of miming as usual. Bodenstein for Mosquitos, discussing with Spieler of Tiefseetaucher. And the discussion looks to have concluded with an accepted foul. So it's coming in with no stall count for Tiefseetaucher, 5 meters outside the end zone. Plays pretty spread, but they've got 3 people in decent position in the end zone, but starts off just looking for the reset, not looking for anything else. That's just a little too far to be comfortable, but a nice catch in the end. Back out to Spieler on this side. It's near side towards the camera. Spieler with the disc now. Not in the 1-6 as they get closer to the end zone, which is another Interesting setup, and Holzer with a nice break of the mark to Wallace. Wallace looks to the end zone. That is not the receiver he intended for, but Tobias Bork leaves his feet and reels that in, saves the blushes of his teammate Justin Wallace. Wallace looking to just put it out on the break side where there's no defenders, but too close to the stack. The defender was able to get out, make it a difficult catch, but fantastic reflexes from Tobias Bork to bring that in and push Tiefseetaucher ahead. See, Holzer with the disc, and Wallace has so much space. It's a nice inside break. Wallace gets it, fakes that lefty, gives himself plenty of space. There's just too much edge on that, but Bork gets underneath that. What an excellent catch. Looking for Mira Glocker, I think, in the end zone. It's not, it's Sophie Rosteucher, and it looks like there's a timeout call, which I would assume would be from Mosquitos. That's 3 points in a row for Tiefseetaucher to take control of this game. While the team's talking, I am going to have a quick break here, but we'll be back with you very, very shortly. And we are back with this game as the German team, Tiefseetaucher, has taken a 4-2 lead over Mosquitos. Mosquitos 2-1 up. Tiefseetaucher 3 points in a row to push their noses in front. Mosquitos with a break to start as well, so had themselves in a nice position, but the Germans have recovered, rallied well, and we are back with Mosquitos on offense. Mosquitos running another set play. Joanna Roy streaking across there, trying to get some space, and another deep shot goes up. Mosquitos really looking for this deep game. Great catch. Excellent read by number 13 for Mosquitos, Jakob Salomon. And Salomon keeps his composure. Find a teammate at the front of the end zone, and Mosquitos, who had a tough little run there, needed a point, needed a hold, and Angeter is able to get that catch to bring them back within one and get them on the board again. It's a really great read from Salomon. He was put under a lot of pressure by the defender, and you could see looks as though just chasing, trying to make sure that there's no easy shot on the open side. The defender just leaves the break side unguarded, and it's a fairly straightforward pitch and catch for the score in the end. So Mosquitos to pull. It's been an interesting division so far over in Padova. The mixed division has some very good teams. Obviously, I said in Pool A that both these teams are in. It features Deep Space, reigning European champions. So some really talented teams there. But the other pool is also some interesting teams. You've got Frub from Germany, out, another Hungarian team, Padova, Italian team. So there's some very, very good players on show here. It's going to be interesting to see how this sets us up for the rest of the season as Hornschmeyer shoots down the line. Tiefseetaucher really working down this open side the whole way here. There's a shot to the end zone there, but it would have been tough. Turned down. Back in the hands of Sarah Hermeking. Hermeking goes around the mark. Lovely throw to Dennis Holzer. Holzer, huge gap in front of him there. Doesn't take the mark on the first time because he's taking it on the second time. Hornschmeyer lays out to bring that in, but the question is going to be, were his feet in when he caught that? You can see Holzer doesn't want the first one. Hornschmeyer stops. And then the defender turns, leaves loads and loads of space, and Hornschmeyer gets his hands on that. That looks to me as though that's in. It looks to me as though that left foot is down. But it's a very, very tough call. Real bang-bang play there. In real speed, that will be very tough. And Hornschmeyer himself calling that a turnover. As we see it one more time. Little stop and go. Gives himself plenty of space. As he catches that, I think his left foot's down. I think he's in, but very understandable for the teams to have had some discussion there. Really close call. And good spirit in the end to kind of find a resolution pretty quickly. As Mosquitos, huge deep shot. And that is an absolutely great bid. I'm not 100% sure that that disc was for Jakob Kratky from Dunshern, but the one thing Kratky has done there, even though he hasn't pulled it in, he has pushed it downfield. It's rolled all the way past the brick mark, so Tiefseetaucher with a pretty long field in front of them. Holzer looking upfield. I mean, that reset defender was nowhere near the reset, just trying to limit the space. Holzer fires it deep. Really nice catch there from Hornschmeyer, and Hornschmeyer just puts it out in front. Very, very casually. Really nice placement on that disc. The defender with a bid to try and get there, but the placement was perfect. See the shot from Dennis Holzer, this flick. Hornschmeyer hasn't even got that much space. Dunshern is relatively close, but Hornschmeyer, that's a great catch. Just reaches up, snatches it away, and a nice cut in the end zone for the score. I don't think Meister was really that close on the bid, but fair enough, trying to put off her defender, try and get a hand in there, put off Franzi Meyer, who's caught that goal. And Tiefseetaucher taking a leaf out of Mosquito's book there. Mosquito been very, very aggressive in attacking that deep space. Their handlers have been really good at executing downfield. We've seen a lot of deep shots go up. Angeta has been sending a lot of them with that big left arm. But great shot from Holzer there to respond for Tiefseetaucher. So, pull goes up from Linea Siebert. And the disc in the middle of the field now for Mosquitos. Moving down that open side. Turns down an open side throw. Back in field now. With Angeta. Back over to the far side of the field. Mosquitos working around nicely. Another big, aggressive, deep shot goes deep from Mosquitos. And that's a really good catch. Again, Nicola Hubel owning that deep space. Sticks up her right hand and pulls it in. Another one where the shot looks risky. It looks like there's not that much space for it when Bodenstein released it, but Mosquitos, clearly that is the game plan they're going for. They are challenging Tiefseetaucher in that deep space, pushing it deep early and aggressively, and they, at the moment, are getting some good rewards from it. Just a big backhand rip. There is some lateral separation there, but that is throwing into a pretty small space. But Hubel is taller than Kaiser and pulls it down without too much of a problem. Put Mosquitos back out on D. So both teams, I mean, those last few points have been going in pretty quickly. We had a couple of longer points with some more turnovers there, but that one, Mosquitos have had a couple of points. I mean, they had the one at the start there was basically a catch it, throw it, pull play, we're all done in 30 seconds. That one was another pretty quick one. Let's see what they can do on D here. Big pull. Goes all the way to the back of the end zone. Tiefseetaucher fielding it in their own end zone. Holzer with the disc. Huge gap in front of him. But Hornschmeyer is able to skate free. Well, other way around. Hornschmeyer fielded the pull and it's Holzer now on the disc. Both with white hats, relatively difficult to tell apart, to be honest. Well, Hornschmeyer is on the disc. Good shot down the line and a good catch. Really nice inside backhand into a pretty small space there. Disc continues back into the field. Holzer with the disc. He's surveying his options. Hornschmeyer is in loads of space. And the dump reset goes straight through that space and makes it really difficult. But Hornschmeyer with the disc. Holzer goes around. And it's just jumping a little bit too early from Jan Vatrin, and it's a turnover. And another deep shot from Mosquitos. Mosquitos, loads of space, but they need people to clear through. There's nothing in front. As Tiefseetaucher scrambled to get into place on that D. Cut across the front, not quite enough there. Is there a call? No, there's no call. There's no call. Looks as though there was a little bit of contact, but probably didn't make any difference, as we see a replay of Holzer with a nice around for him. The jump, completely mistimed. Really good reactions there. From Wrestle, we saw Wrestle earlier in the game have an opportunity to block and not make the catch. This time he made absolutely sure. Pulled it in. Hornschmeyer looking downfield. Tiefseetaucher had that. Still looking for that space at the front. They're in this vertical stack, really looking to attack the front. They're not looking to go deep that much from static positions. Almost an absolutely outrageous catch from one of the Tiefseetaucher players there. Holzer looking for that inside blade, but can't quite complete it. And Mosquitos wasted no time. Pick up and go. And another deep shot. And this time they have reeled in that break. Number 67 for Mosquitos, Noah Haider, pulls it in, and that is a break to get us back on level terms. 5-5. Mosquitos starting out with a break. Tiefseetaucher taking 2 in the middle of the game, but Mosquitos with their second of the game. 2-2 on breaks, 5-5 on the scoreboard. No wasted time here at all from either team. When there's turnovers, they're picking it up pretty quickly. You can see Holzer just not quite in position there. Pretty easy catch in the end for Haider. But both teams really pushing the pace, really asking questions of each other. You can see the full Mosquitos squad seemingly on the line here. I don't know whether it looks like they stand in the end zone. Maybe they haven't had a point on if they're ready to come on, something like that. And the coach decides the 7 that he wants on. Dunchern with the disc there has been the main defender on Torben Hornschmeyer. Clearly something they must have talked about and worked on in the build-up to this game. Dunchern's pull goes pretty deep, and it is with Hornschmeyer just outside the end zone. Hornschmeyer to Wallace. Tiefseetaucher in much more of a spread offense here. They've been playing a vert with all the space at the front, and Hornschmeyer goes deep there. The defender, I don't think, knew that was, or knew exactly where it was. But it's with Tiefseetaucher to throw into space, but can't quite get there. It looks as though Glocker was trying to get it to, or Meyer was trying to get it to Glocker at the front of the end zone there. But a little bit too much on it, pushes it out the side of the pitch, and Mosquitos have a chance to push their noses ahead yet again. Meyer was early in the stall count, didn't have to take that throw. The space was there, but it's a really, really tough execution. And now we see Mosquitos attacking that open side again, running down the open side. There's some poaching upfield from Tiefseetaucher, not close to their marks, trying to get in the way of the lanes, but Mosquitos run through it, although clearly don't see Dennis Holzer standing in the lane, because that is a throw straight to Holzer, which is not ideal when you're playing on offense, throwing straight to the chest of the defender. It's with Hornschmeyer now. Holzer, loads of space on that far side. He's looking for Glocker this time. Oh, the defender. From the angle of where the camera is, the defender looked really close there, but Glocker catches it, pushes Tiefseetaucher back up. 6-5, but a slightly more challenging point for the Germans there. See Holzer and Hornschmeyer conferring, talking about what went wrong there, what might need to change a little bit. But defensively, Tiefseetaucher were quite soft there. They were kind of leaving space for their marks, poaching off into lanes, as we see the break throw over to Hornschmeyer. From Hornschmeyer to Holzer, and Holzer throws that goal to Mira Glocker. That's 2 assists already for Dennis Holzer, to go along with 2 from Hornschmeyer. The 2 of them seeing a lot of time on the disc. You can see they're the 2 kind of big players for this German team. And the German D-line now looking to go out and restrict the Mosquitos offense. Pretty good pull, but caught and centered in the middle of the field. Again, Mosquitos out in this spread horizontal offense. Wallace has just dropped off his mark there. Mosquitos kind of working it down the field. But everything's locked up here. Nice pressure relieving cut. But that's a little too high for Johanna Roy. The throw from Bodenstein just a little too high. Roy can't bring it in, and Tiefseetaucher now have another opportunity. As we see, they go back to this 1-6 that their D-line's been playing pretty much the whole time. It's another throw with there's space to throw that into, but they are not liking throwing those short area throws. That's a good D, although is there enough on that? Oh, he's kept going and reeled it in. The defender got a hand on it, but didn't do enough. Michael stops, does not stop, carries on going, lays out, and puts Tiefseetaucher 7-5 ahead. A deep shot to the tall frame stops. You can see there's not a huge amount of space there. If it hangs up in the wind at all, it's going to be the defenders all day. And the defender gets a hand on it, but just doesn't do enough to take it away. Samek. Another situation there. There's been a couple for the Mosquitos. We had one right at the beginning of the game, as I said, for Paul Wrestle, where he got a hand on it, but wasn't enough to take it away. A couple of opportunities that they could have gone differently for them, but as it is, Tiefseetaucher's up 2, and it looks like we have another timeout. So we will take a break as the Germans look to go and take half. Welcome back to Padova, the mixed division, this spring invite game between Tiefseetaucher, deep sea divers in German, they're from Munich, and Mosquitos from Austria. From Klostenberg, I assume is how you would say that place name. It's not a place I'm familiar with in Austria, but Mosquitos, as I've said, went to the elite invite last year. Tiefseetaucher, this is the first time, or the year that they're together as an elite team. They've got players from Muck from Munich, Woodchickers, the historically successful women's team from Munich. They've taken players from both those teams, consolidated into a mixed team, and already have a win over the European champions, have a win over Deep Space, 15-12 this morning. Deep Space missing some Great Britain women's players, but that's still a fantastic result for the Germans as they look to continue their good run. So, good pull from Sieberts. Disc with Mosquitos, and they've gone back to this 2-5 vertical stack. They've abandoned the horizontal. It's with Handler in the middle of the field. Bodenstein looking for an option, but can't find one. Instead, comes back to Angeter. Bodenstein again. Nice work down the break side, but there's no continuation. Looking back in field, all the way around. A lot of movement downfield. There's a lot of movement. People coming through the stack. It's not surprising that there's been a pick, although it's not a pick call. It looks like there's an injury call from one of the Tiefseetaucher female matching players. A lot of movement downfield. Mosquitos, their vert stack was so disciplined and effective in the first few points of the game here, but you can see that it's becoming much more difficult to get any movement as we get closer to half, as Tiefseetaucher start to lock down slightly. So the disc in the middle of the field. with Angeter. Coming back in now. Samek on this near side. His mark's a long way away, but he doesn't want to try and take on Holzer. And it's a lefty flick. It looks to be plenty of space there, but Roy couldn't quite bring it in. The angle must have been slightly wrong. The throw just behind her, with the wrong shoulder maybe. Tiefseetaucher back in this 1-6. Looking for continuation off that first throw. Comes into Holzer at the front of the stack here. There's a big gap in front of him. You see they're out this 1-6 now. There's a reset right behind him, but Holzer instead takes on the mark on this near side. Lovely inside throw, but a great layout bid. Bodenstein knocks that away, gets there in front of Rostdeutscher, gets the disc back for Mosquitos. Mosquitos now looking downfield, instead take the reset. Running down that open side. Bodenstein, deep shot. Is there too much in that? Just too much. Just too much. You could see Hubel working really hard, trying to get yet another deep score in, but just a little bit too much on that one. As we see this fantastic, Bodenstein has to make a lot of space here. The throw sits up a little bit, gives her opportunity. Really good, clean block. Knocks it away, gets the disc back for her team. But her deep shot just has a little bit too much on it, and Hubel can't quite bring it in. So Tiefseetaucher with another opportunity on this D point to take half. Looks like it's Holzer with the disc in this 1-6 again. And he shoots that deep. Bodenstein in the vicinity, knocks it away. Another one where Mosquitos potentially kept that alive. Angeter panicked slightly, you could see there, but he snatched it out of midair, made sure, and Samek now with the disc. He doesn't have a mark, he's got plenty of time. But instead of taking his time, he goes deep. And is there a call there? It looks like there is a call. You could see that the disc sat up slightly. The Mosquitos player is reaching up. We see a replay here that is reaching up. It looks like it's pretty close, but Poyle gets her hand there just as the disc comes in. I imagine the discussion here is that the Mosquitos player is saying that they had a hand on it, and that there was a touch on the hand before the disc was D'd, and it looks as though it's contested. It's going back to Samek. Samek, who I just said had plenty of time, plenty of space, didn't need to make any rush decisions. They just bombed it deep. You've got to respect it. You've got to respect the aggression that Mosquitos have been playing with offensively. They are really looking for those deep shots. And Samek, you would expect, is going to be a little more calm here, and does indeed take an undershot. And that inside reset just too far in front of Angeter. He can't get there despite the layout bid. And Mosquitos, after getting that disc back on that deep shot, good D from the deep shot, it's back with Holzer, and Tiefseetaucher looking again for half. Out of this 1-6. Holzer keeps on going, gets it back. He's got options deep, but instead comes to the front of the stack again. And they've got space on that break side. Flows over to that break side nicely. That shot off the front of the end zone opened up so much space, and Hermiking had the whole front corner of the end zone to aim for with her cut. And it's a really good throw, really good cut. And that is half taken by the Germans. 8-5. Game of runs here. Germans scored 3 in a row from 2-2 to go 4-2 up, or from 2-1 down to go 4-2 up, and then scored 3 in a row from 5-5 to take half. So Tiefseetaucher on top. Mosquitos also doing pretty well. We'll take a quick break at half time as we come back and see if the Austrians can get back into this.
Stop. Don't encourage her. Don't ask follow-up questions. I'm getting good.
All right, welcome back to the second half between Tiefseetaucher and Mosquitos. Mosquitos on offense, looking to reduce their deficit here. My name is Sean Colfer, taking you through this game between two teams that don't have a loss yet. Tiefseetaucher with 3 wins, Mosquitos with 2. The Mosquitos looking to start up off with a nice hold and do so off a really good expansive break from Konstantin Angeta to his brother Christoph, and it's a good hold to start off the second half. Konstantin and Christoph, the two kind of main handlers for this Mosquitos team. They've been doing a lot of the work with the disc. 78 and 87, it's almost like they're trying to make our job difficult here. The Austrians started out with break, but Tiefseetaucher were able to go on 2 3-point runs in that first half to pull ahead. They are 8-6 up here. We'll have a look what's going on in the rest of the games while we're between points here. Deep Space up pretty comfortably 10-4 on the Owls. Colorado, who've had a very mixed day. They had a really good win against the Wonder team, beat them 15-3. But in their next game, Colorado were then beaten themselves 15-3 by Puck from France. But Colorado up 8-7 on Akzoy, the Polish team, who prevented Mosquitos from going to EUCS last year. The Tiefseetaucher now on offense, looking for something downfield. Very big poach on that reset as Holzer gets the disc with plenty of space, and Holzer fires it deep, looking for Hornschmeyer. But instead, I say looking for Hornschmeyer, he could very well looking for Glocker, because that goes straight to Glocker for the score. Whoever it was going to, really well-weighted throw from Holzer. Deep shot. Another score on the board for the Germans, and they are 9-6 up without too much fuss at all. You see Holzer fires that deep. Hornschmeyer streaking deep. So's Glocker, and Glocker waits slightly and catches it in midair, foot down in the end zone. And that is a hold for the Germans to maintain their advantage. Very interesting offensively from Tiefseetaucher so far in this game. We've seen 1-6 from their D-line. We've seen a lot of 2-5 from their O-line, vertical stack with a reset out. We've seen a couple of spread points as well. They kind of spread things out horizontally and play a 3-4 instead. You can see that they really want to run through the players that they know are really confident, competent with the disc. Take those yards and give those throwers chances to be expansive. Mosquitos, on the other hand, are kind of working it through more of the team, but they are still looking for those deep shots, as we saw on the first point, that kind of set play from the front of the end zone going deep, but instead it comes over to the reset on that far side and they work it across the field. So now it's Samek on this near side. Samek with the disc. Snack in front of him. As Roy cutting, it goes instead to Angeta, who goes deep, looking for Samek. Is there too much on that one? No, Samek, nice feed at the back of the end zone. Perfectly weighted in the end. Looked for a moment like it might drift all the way out of the back of the end zone, but Samek reads it the whole way, taps that foot down, and Mosquitos with a good hold. They had a moment there where it looked to be a little static. They weren't getting that movement going as they were early in the point, but Angetta spots Samet going deep. So it comes back to Angetta here. Turns down that throw to Roy, even though there's space there. And then the defender doesn't quite turn with the same ferocity that Samek did. You can see that Andrew Gavin is kind of jogging along, hoping that Samek is going to return to the stack. But instead, he catches it at the back of the end zone, and Mosquitos back to only 2 down. Dunshern back out again. He's played pretty much every D point here. Clearly one of the players that Mosquitos are relying on here. As the big pull comes up. And is not centered to either Holzer or Wunschmann. Although ends up in Holzer's hands there. And he goes deep for Hornschmeyer, who has loads of space. And that is a really easy catch for a player of his talents. But interesting that Tiefseetaucher choose there to take their 2 players who've touched the disc most, their 2 kind of most influential throwers, and put them further upfield, let them get the disc a little higher up the pitch, make things happen from there. And now get the D out and try and make it as hard for the Austrians to score as they can. Really good flick shot from Holzer there. Just kind of sits up in the wind. And Hornschmeyer is able to jog onto it at the end of that cut. Hornschmeyer staying out there. Wallace is out there. We've seen Spieler have a good impact in this game as well. Looks like stops as well. Hornschmeyer and Holzer with four stats each here. Hornschmeyer with 3 assists and that goal that we just saw. Holzer with 4 assists. Whereas Mosquito is a bit more spread out. Only 2 stats for their top people, and that is an early turnover for Mosquitoes. Just really struggling to get any offensive momentum going here at all. Hornschmeyer with a disc now. On this near sideline, reset back into Hornschmeyer. Wallace with the disc. He's looking for options, and Hornschmeyer has loads of space. Back to Wallace on that immediate reset. Doesn't want to go back to his German mixed teammate from last year. Instead, goes around. That's a really, really good catch. Difficult catch to make as well. Spieler kind of threw that blade out there. The only way to catch it was to get the trailing edge, which is a really, really difficult thing to do. And Siebert kind of concentrates the whole way through and snatches it as it's curling away from her. We see Wallace go wide here to Spieler, and Spieler has to turn kind of a 360 degrees and catch that trailing edge. Really good catch. But that is another point where Mosquitoes just can't really get that momentum going. They've been very up and down in this game. They've had points where their offense looks great and they're executing those long throws really well and making it really difficult for Tiefseetaucher to live with them and to take away the options. But they've also had some points where they're not helping themselves really, where they're just kind of some drops and throwing behind receivers. 11-7 now to the Germans. You can see Michael stops with the disc. I would wonder whether they're putting out Holzer or Hornschmeyer here in a situation they're in 4 points up. They don't really need to. They can kind of rely on the rest of the roster to help them get this job done. Samet with a disc. Isolating a cutter out on that break space, and an interesting decision from the defender. It's a great catch, but he has caught that and landed out of bounds. Took off from infield, landed out of bounds, but you can see the defender at the back of the stack there just... Yeah, you can see he just lands out of bounds. He's taken off from in, but So the disc will stay at that front cone rather than go upfield, but just wasn't able to get his foot back in. But you could see that Mosquitos' defender came under there on the break side, and the Mosquitos player, the offender, came under on the break side, and the defender just kind of stayed in that deep space, didn't even bother going with him. Tiefseetaucher now looking to take advantage of the turnover. Looking upfield, it's a little messy there, and stops, ordered to move, and gets the disc off the front of the end zone. Front of the stack, sorry. Back into the middle of the field, goes back. Remy now with the disc, looks for stops on this near side. Plenty of space there. Stops with the disc, looks to put a little bit of bend on that, just enough to get it to his receiver. Goes back in field. Tiefseetaucher moving this nicely. Just turned down that throw to the front of the end zone, trying to not take anything too aggressive. There's no reason for them to now. Good give and go movement. Doesn't want to go back to stops. Looking for an option. Sends it around, and it's eaten out of the air there by Mosquitos. Wasn't able to keep his toe in on the other end, but is able to get that block in the end zone to get the disc back for his team. And the Austrians now looking to get this hold after Tiefseetaucher right on the doorstep. Angeta. Samek. It's a travel called. Looking upfield, but there looks to be a pick. There is, you can see, usually it's not the kind of call I like, the kind of doesn't affect anything travel, but you could pretty clearly see that there was an extra step taken there that was not really necessary. So it's with Samek. You could hear a call of trap, but there was no change to the force, and the disc moves back into the middle of the field, and a deep shot goes up now from Angeta. And that time, it is reeled in. Mosquitos with that deep game yet again, and able to catch it this time in the field. What a point for Hamill. He was involved in everything. He had that catch where he wasn't able to keep his foot in. He got the block in the end zone, and now he's caught the score to end the point. A tough one for Mosquitos there. Tiefseetaucher looked like they were going to be able to execute. They were right on the doorstep, right on the end zone line, but the shot to the end zone wasn't quite good enough, and Hamill is able to catch the score to bring them back within 3. 11-8 now to the Germans. It's 3-3 in the second half. Mosquitos are going to need some breaks here to get back in the game. They've given up one break in the second half. They're going to need their D to really step it up. And so far in the second half, if Christoph or Konstantin Angeta are not on the field, they have not been able to execute at the same kind of level as they are with them. Pull goes up. And it's in Holzer's hands. Holzer's looking downfield for an option. Loads of space downfield. Loads of space for Hammerking. It's back with Holzer. Hammerking goes deep, but Holzer takes that. Another really open option instead. It's with Hornschmeyer now. Hornschmeyer looking for an option and goes around the mark to Holzer. Holzer slows into that and gave his defender an opportunity to get there. Dunschern, you can see Dunschern has his back to the play. Holzer moves towards it. It's a nice throw from Hornschmeyer, but Holzer just really slows up and Dunschern flies in. Might be a discussion about contact there, but disc back in. Holzer down the line to Hornschmeyer. Hornschmeyer down the line to Hermiking. Just 2 really good breaks there. One from Hornschmeyer to Holzer. One from Holzmeier. One from Holzer back to Hornschmeyer. And Hornschmeyer is able to continue that down the line to Hermiking without too much trouble at all. Those 2 players continuing to combine incredibly effectively for this German team, and they are now up 12-8, and they call a timeout to discuss things as we see a replay of Holzer breaking the mark of Dunschern, and that gives so much time and space for Hornschmeyer, who just puts it out in front of Hermiking. Easy money. We will take a quick break while the teams do, and we'll be back with you for the conclusion of this game between Mosquitos and Tiefseetaucher. Hello and welcome back. Welcome me back to Padova. Looks like a nice sunset over there in Italy. The mountains in the background as these two teams continue to battle it out. It's the spring invite, a mixed division in Padova. Some really good teams here. It looks like there's going to be some teams we see later in the season as we kind of build towards EUCS here. As Mosquitos, the Austrian team, receive the pull. They are 12-8 down to Tiefseetaucher, German team from Munich. And they are trying to come back in this, pull out a run of breaks late on to get back in the game. Samek goes over to Angita. Really good concentration on that catch. Under pressure on that far side. Mosquitos, this is the best offensive momentum we've had in a few points here. They're working it nicely. It's back in the field to Angita. Roy comes across the front. Roy catches it. Looking for a deep shot, but it's not there. Roy now looking back in the field, comes to Samek. Mosquitos in kind of a 1-6 formation here. They're just trying to find some space, but Samek, pretty late in the stall count, I would guess, goes deep instead, and that is a really good catch. Reaches over the top. Is there going to be a call? Bork, and can't quite see who that is there. Roy, I think. So Roy, the Mosquitos player, was in position. She's saying that Bork came, knocked her, and then in turn knocked her defender. Yeah, it looks like Bork is the one that goes into his own teammate, while Jakob Salomon, the Mosquitos player, is kind of reaching over the top to get it. Majority of the contact, I think, between the two teammates, but they're just discussing the play here. And the conclusion of that discussion is that it is a goal. There's been some discussions between these two teams, but they seem to have been resolved pretty quickly in most circumstances. It's good to see. And it is 12-9 now. Mosquitos getting a hold that they really needed. And they'll be looking to go out on D and start eating into this lead. But again, they were moving it quite nicely for a while there, but it really slowed down. Mosquitos in the second half have just struggled to get offensive momentum going. They were owning the deep space early on. And Samek, you would assume, is looking at Roy here. Roy looks to have space going deep. Samek, let's go, but it just sits in the wind for a little longer than you would like. Up goes Salomon. The two teammates kind of collide in the end zone there. And that is 12-9 to Tiefseetaucher. But Mosquitos there, they've been running a kind of 2-5 for most of this game. 2-5 being 2 handlers, 5 cutters in that vertical stack. But there was a moment there where it looked like they were kind of leaving Samek as the only person out. All 6 people upfield, trying to isolate space on both sides and not really being able to do so. Tiefseetaucher now in a spread 3-4, looking to get work down this side. Looks like it's kind of a side stack now. They're moving through, and they're just kind of cascading down this open side. Some good movement from Tiefseetaucher, but Mosquitos really have to try and stop that movement. Instead, Tiefseetaucher come back to go around the other way. And it's Holzer threads a needle there to Hornschmeyer. Oh, and Hornschmeyer tries to fit it into an even smaller gap. Holzer threads the needle. Hornschmeyer tries to do likewise, but it lets the defender come back at it, and the defender knocks it away. And Mosquitos now with a chance to get another break. Dunshern played for Groot last year, I believe, going towards the disc here. As we see some Costa Rica players relaxing in the background after their win in the last game. Hornschmeyer telling people behind him what to do, and that Dunshern reset goes up, and there's just not enough on that. I picked it up. Back to Holzer. The Germans right on the doorstep now. They've struggled in some cases to execute this shot this close to the end zone, but Wallace with the disc, and Wallace just puts out the break side. Easy as you like. Hornschmeyer catches it. That is a goal. 13-9, as there's some discussion with Mosquitos of just what went wrong there, but Dunshern tries to kind of pop that reset over the shoulder of his mark in their own end zone. Not enough on it, and it is a turnover in the end zone. And that a chance for Mosquitos to get back into the game goes begging. We see Holzer here goes across the front, and so the mark on Wallace is too far over, trying to stop that shot to Holzer, and instead Hornschmeyer's wide open on the front cone. Good execution from Tiefseetaucher, creating space for each other, cutting hard. And the Germans now within touching distance of the win, 2 points away from taking this win over the Austrians. We had a lightning break earlier in Padova, but you would not know it from the weather over there. Looks beautiful now. Sunshine over the mountains. Just see the stand there. Looks like a very good evening to be playing Frisbee in. Pull goes up. It's a good pull. Mosquitos in their own end zone, but well fielded. Basically out of the brick now. Angeta goes over to that far side. Tiefseetaucher kind of happy for Mosquitos to go around and backwards, just trying to stop anything inside. Mosquitos going down the open side here. Another travel called. So we see the replay here. Less sure about that call, to be honest, but travel's called. We carry on. Looking downfield, no option there. That inside reset has been 3 or 4 times they turned over on the same kind of throw. The reset from the front of the stack, firing it laterally across the field, looking for that inside shot, but it's been too far in front pretty much every time. It's a difficult throw, but if it looks as though that's something they've drilled and talked about because they're trying to take it so frequently, if you're going to do it, you're going to have to drill it and get it much tighter than that. Holzer goes backwards, but nice throw. It's Rudy, and now it's back with stops. On that far side with Holzer now. Looks at the front of the stack. Nothing there. Holzer goes around. Plenty of space to aim into. And a round shot stops. It looks like has plenty of space. That is stops. He's able to reel that in. And that is another goal for the Germans. Another break for the Germans. And they are now 1 point away from taking this game, from taking this win over Mosquitos, who I said in the first half, doing really well, taking advantage of their deep game. But really, since we went to 5-5, the Germans have just put their foot down and eased away. It has been 6-3 since then. 3-point run to go into half. They had a hold and 2 breaks, and they've had several breaks in that second half to go up to 11-7. The Austrians then, Mosquitos able to trade a little bit, but now it's 14-9 with yet another break. 2 breaks in the second half for Tiefseetaucher to go alongside their 4 in the first half. You would say there's been times in this game where it's looked pretty easy for the Germans. They're able to use the space much better than Mosquitos are. They're able to kind of get those throws out in front of their receivers. They're not making as many mistakes on the resets, which is really crucial. If you're able to reset the disc and you're able to keep the disc moving without turning it over, you're able to relieve the pressure on your offense, reset the stall count continually, and open up opportunities for yourself to take options downfield. Whereas Mosquitos at the moment, the pressure is on them all the time because they're getting high in stall counts and they are really struggling to reset it. Angeta looking downfield, tightly marked, but Bodenstein has it. Deep shot just goes, or the throw downfield goes over the receiver's head. Looks like Angeta. And it's back into this 1-6 to Tiefseetaucher as they have an opportunity to win the game. Turns down an open throw to go break side instead with Wallace. Foul call by Wallace. Looks like he's about to try and throw, and Samet comes through and just knocks him, trying to get in position for the mark. High five there. Not intentional, but stops the flow. And Wallace on the disc, back into a 1-6 for Tiefseetaucher. Plenty of space on this near side here. You can see loads of space for Tiefseetaucher. Wallace has gone deep. The throw has gone up. He is in position. But Angeta gets there, knocks it away. Really good job. Peels off the back of the stack there, Angeta, to get in there. Looks like Wallace has plenty of space. But Angeta goes up nice and early and gets just enough on it. Wallace nearly has his hand around that disc. But as Christoph Angeta is able to knock it away, and Mosquitos live to fight another day here. They get another opportunity to put this point in. Angeta resets. Ooh, it's a little bit of a bosh there, but we carry on playing. Wallace on the mark on the reset. Much better resetting for Mosquitos here. The throw eats up yards. Big chunk play there. But a throw down the line. It looked as though the receiver, that's Hubel, had kind of stopped, was waiting to get back out of that space. And in doing so, it gave Pol plenty of time to come in, get in the way, and knock it away. And Pol now looking for an option. Finds one down the line. And then moving the disc well, just outside the end zone. Wallace throws it on that front corner. Easy throw in the end. Tiefseetaucher doing a really good job of moving the disc and making the D keep moving. And in the end, it is an easy throw to that front cone. Good score for Kaiser. Kaiser reels it in, and that is a 15-9 win for Tiefseetaucher, who really from 5-5 went on a 10-4 run to win that game, really showed their class, worked out a few of the things that Mosquitos were trying to do and started taking it away from them. Once Mosquitos were less able to win in the deep space, they were struggling to reset it, they were struggling to get much movement going, as we see Wallace come out of the stack, and then a pretty simple movement straight across the front from Kaiser. Plenty of space, easy throw for a team as good as Tiefseetaucher. They've got wins over Mosquitos, who look very good, a win over Deep Space, who obviously reigning European champions. So Tiefseetaucher, this German team, look to be ones to watch for the rest of the season. But for this game, we'll call it a day there. Thank you for watching. Congratulations to Tiefseetaucher. We will be back with the next game momentarily. And we'll be back with more for the rest of Spring Invite. But from me, Sean Colfer, thanks for watching, and I will speak to you all soon.